لا إله إلا هو وإليه المصير. أمسينا على فطرة الإسلام وكلمة الإخلاص وعلى دين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى ملة أبينا إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين. اللهم إني أمسيت منك في نعمة وعافية وستر، فأتم علي نعمتك وعافيتك وسترك في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما أمسى بي من نعمة أو بأحد من خلقك فمنك وحدك لا شريك لك، فلك الحمد ولك الشكر. يا رب لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا. ثم أما بعد. My dear respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
We start our halaqah by praising Allah Azza wa Jal and sending prayers upon the Prophet alayhi salatu wa salam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to benefit from the stories of the Prophets, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to take them as our example, our role model, so we can follow on their footsteps. Ameen. So, we're still talking about the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, the beautiful story of Yusuf alayhi salam. And in order to make connection between what we have said last week and what we are going to say about him tonight, we stopped last week when Yusuf alayhi salam was put in front of the trial, the test, and when the wife of Al-Aziz heard that the information about the incident, about what happened, is all over the city, all over the town. So they could not keep the news only inside between the walls of the castle, but a lot of people heard about what happened, especially when a lot of women started talking about the incident. So the wife of Al-Aziz, she organized a gathering, as we have said, and she invited those women to come, and she asked Yusuf alayhi salam to wear the most beautiful clothes he had and just came out. And we know what happened when he came out. And they started, she gave each one of them a knife and a fruit. And when they saw him, subhanAllah, they were so, impressed of his beauty, alayhi salatu wasalam, to the point that they started cutting their own hands without paying attention. At that point, when this was their reaction, the wife of Al-Aziz told them, فَقَالَتْ ذَلِكُنَّ فَذَلِكُنَّ الَّذِي لُمْتُنَّنِ فِيهِ. She said, this is the one about whom you reproached me. وَلَقَدْ رَاوَدْتُهُ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ فَاسْتَعْصَمَ. Yes, I seduced him, but he abstained. وَإِن لَمْ يَفْعَلْ مَا آمُرُهُ لَيُسْجَنَنَّ وَلَيَكُونَ مِنَ الصَّاغِرِينَ. And should he not follow my command, he shall be imprisoned and will be disgraced. So this is a very clear threat that she made against Yusuf alayhi salam. And she did not make this threat only to Yusuf, but in front of all the room full of women who were invited. So things were not private and secret anymore. So she made this threat in public, in front of all the ladies who were there, that if he doesn't do what I have commanded him to do, he will see the consequences. He will be disgraced. He will be punished. So this time, the wife of Al-Aziz did not keep anything secret, anything private, but she threatened him in front of everyone. And here we need to understand something. Why she kept insisting, despite his innocence, despite his refusal all the time. We have to understand something, I believe it's very important. What made her doing this and sending the threat to Yusuf alayhi salam in front of everyone, because she felt humiliated. Because she thinks that she lowered herself. And this is what the women said about her. The wife of Al-Aziz seduced her slave, her servant. I mean, she went down to him, inviting him to do something like this. And she could go to somebody at her same status level. But how come the wife of Al-Aziz might be the governor, by the way? Might be the governor. So they had the king and they had Al-Aziz right underneath the king. So the wife of the governor, the wife of Al-Aziz, she did this to her servant, to her slave. She felt that she humiliated herself. And the threat was to gain back her status, her pride. You know, this is what caused this harm to this lady. It was not just because he said no. No. It was deeper than this. It was more profound than this. So I believe that when she found herself humiliated, her status went down, and she didn't get anything because of that, then she became crazy. And she wanted Yusuf alayhi salam to submit to her, otherwise he is going to be in big trouble. So this is the way she has chosen to retaliate against Yusuf alayhi salam, because he humiliated her. At that point, when she threatened Yusuf with the punishment and he will be disgraced and so on, these ladies, they came to Yusuf alayhi salam and they started talking to him. They started telling him, "Are you crazy? Why don't you listen to your master? Why don't you do this? Aren't you afraid to be sent to the prison? Aren't you afraid to have the consequences of your refusal?" So they started pushing him to accept what she invited him for. At that point, Yusuf alayhi salam, under that huge pressure, just try to imagine Yusuf alayhi salam by himself in front of a huge crowd of women, all of them urging him to submit to his master, to Zawjat al-Aziz, to the wife of al-Aziz. At that point, he had no other option but to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The only one who could help him and support him in that situation was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why his reaction was, as Allah said in verse 33 in Surah Yusuf, قَالَ رَبِّ السِّجْنُ أَحَبُّ إِلَيَّ مِمَّا يَدْعُونَنِي إِلَيْهِ. He, Yusuf, said, my Lord, the prison is dearer to me than what these women invite me to do. I mean, to the point that he has chosen to go to prison. And the prison at that time, wasn't like the prison nowadays. It was something unbelievable. But yet, he has chosen to go to prison in order to preserve his cleanliness and his purity. وَإِلَّا, and he said, وَإِلَّا تَصْرِفْ عَنِّي كَيْدَهُنَّ كيدهن أصب إليهن وأكن من الجاهلين. If you do not turn their guile away from me, I shall get inclined towards them and shall be among the ignorant. Which means that there is no one who can or who could help him at that time except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered his request, answered his dua. He asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to save him. Even by going to jail, he didn't mind going to jail. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered him in verse 34 of Surah Yusuf. فَاسْتَجَابَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ. So his Lord accepted his prayer. فَصَرَفَ عَنْهُ كَيْدَهُنْ. And turned their will away from him. إِنَّهُ هُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. Surely he is the all-hearing, the all-knowing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala heard the dua of Yusuf alayhi salam. And he wanted him to remain clean, to remain pure. So the best option he had, other than falling into that fitna, was to go to jail. Was to go to jail. But how did that happen? Allah Azza wa Jal said about the process of sending Yusuf alayhi salam to the prison. ثُمَّ بَدَى لَهُم مِّن بَعْدِ مَا رَأَوْا الْآيَاتِ لَيَسْجُنُنَّهُ حَتَّى حِينٍ. Later on, even after having seen the clear signs of his innocence, Al-Aziz and his wife, both of them, they deemed it proper to imprison him for some time. Which means, I assume that there was a lot of discussion. Now, what happened is not secret anymore. A lot of people know about it. And Al-Aziz and his wife, they have to do something to save their reputation, to save their honor. They didn't want people to say and believe that the fault was or belonged to the wife of Al-Aziz. No. They wanted to change the version, the narrative in the city. How could they do that? So the only way to do that is to send Yusuf to the prison. By sending him to the prison, people will say and think and believe, oh, he was sent to prison because he committed a crime. He betrayed his own master. And he deserves to go to prison. This was the intention of this action taken by Aziz and his wife. They thought about it, they discussed this matter, maybe they consulted with some close people around them, and despite they had all the signs, clear proofs that Yusuf alayhi salam was innocent, yet they decided to take him to jail. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala meant for Yusuf alayhi salam. You know, after reading and understanding the meaning of Surah Yusuf, we should never complain anymore about anything that happens in our lives. Maybe this is the greatest lesson that we can get from Surah Yusuf. Maybe I should say this at the end of the story, but subhanAllah, this is where we understand this. We should never complain about anything that happens in our lives. Even the most horrible thing happening in our lives, we should always be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We never know. عسى أن يكون في الشر خير. In something that we see as shar, as evil, something horrible, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put al-khayr in it. One of the scholars said something very interesting. He said, لو كشف الله عز وجل لعباده الغيب if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uncovers, unveils the unseen to us, which means if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show us what He is hiding for us, something, the good things that will happen in the future, لَذَابَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ, their hearts will melt out of love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Something bad happened to you, and you get mad, disappointed, angry, you start complaining. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show you what was going to happen to you if that thing didn't happen, what was going to happen to you, you will spend your entire life, the rest of your life, making sujood for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do have a problem trusting Allah Azza wa Jalla. We do have a problem trusting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even verbally we say this all the time, tawakkalna ala Allah, and we give lectures about tawakkul. But when it comes to, the right time, we do have a problem. So after understanding the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, we should never complain anymore. When we don't understand why this is happening, just trust Allah. Just say, Ya Allah, I am in your hands. My future, everything about me is in your hands. Do whatever you want, Ya Allah. I'm pleased with whatever you are doing. I will never complain. SubhanAllah. This is very, very profound. So, Yusuf alayhi salam went to prison. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed for him. Now, why did he go to prison? We will see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was hiding for him. Yusuf in the prison. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said at the very beginning of this stage of his life. Now this is the third mihna, the third trial. We have seen the first trial was with his brothers. The second trial was with the wife of Al-Aziz. Now the third trial is the trial of the prison. Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the verse 36, وَدَخَلَ مَعَهُ السِّجْنَ فَتَيَانِ, and two men entered the prison with him. We don't know whether they were there when he entered the prison, or they entered together the same day, or they were admitted to the prison after Yusuf was admitted. We don't know exactly. But what we know is that two men were admitted to prison with Yusuf alayhi salam. Who were those men? One of them was a saqi. A saqi is the person, and by the way, both of them were working in the castle. They were not from outside. They were from the staff. Okay? One of them was a saqi. A saqi is the one who serves the drinks, the wine, all type of drinks. We don't know what he did. He did something wrong? Maybe. So he was admitted to prison. The second one was khazin al-ta'am, the person who stores the food. He was in charge of storing the food inside the castle. Whenever the chef in the kitchen needed to cook something, then this person is the one to bring him whatever he needed. Okay? So these are the two people who entered the prison with Yusuf alayhi salam. وَدَخَلَ مَعَهُ السِّجْنَ فَتَيَانِ. And of course, let's keep in mind that Yusuf alayhi salam was admitted to prison not because he was a criminal, not because he did anything wrong, but he was wronged. He was what? Mazloom. Al-dhulm was imposed on him. And how many people who don't deserve to be there have been inside the prison? How many people in the history of humanity, how many people nowadays are in prisons all over the world who didn't do anything wrong? How many people have been executed and they didn't do anything wrong? Just a few days ago in Egypt, 9 young men, their ages between 22 and 28 years old. Between 22 and 28 years old, they were executed. They were hanged. What was their crime? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They electrified them, they tortured them like crazy, and made them say statements. And based on what they have said during the electrification, this is why the judge ordered the execution. This is just a very small example about what's happening right now. So when we talk about Yusuf alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us an example. That since Yusuf alayhi salam, as a prophet, we're talking about a prophet, and he was wronged. He was admitted to the prison and he didn't do any crime. He didn't do anything wrong. How many people before him and how many people after him were admitted to prison and they have not done anything wrong? So in his case, prison is much better than what he was invited to do. As a prophet and a person who invites people to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he had the opportunity to teach and guide people. So he was a prophet when he was inside the prison. For him, it was an opportunity. The prison was full with people who were ready to listen. And people often, they are eager and ready and willing to listen to these kind of messages when they are in that situation. The people, the most people who accept Islam now in the United States are the people in the prison. The growing Muslim population now in the United States is in the prison. You know, at the Shura Council of Southern California, we have the project called POP, Prison Outreach Program, led by Imam Ishaq, Abu Ishaq Abdul Hafid from Long Beach. He's a retired chaplain, African American. Wallahi, when he started telling us or sharing us some of his experiences visiting people in different jails in Orange County and LA and up north in Ventura, you cannot believe yourself how many people are accepting Islam now. Yusuf alayhi salam had that opportunity to be around people who were ready to listen to the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, the two people who entered with him, they came to him one day. After both of them saw something in the dream that made them very concerned. And they could not interpret what they have seen in the dream. So they came to him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قال أحدهما, one of them told Yusuf alayhi salam, إني أراني أعصر خمرا, I have seen myself in the dream pressing wine. أعصر, pressing, خمر, wine. وقال الآخر إني أراني أحمل فوق رأسي خبزا تأكل الطير منه. The other one said, I saw myself in the dream carrying bread over my head, of which the birds were eating. Carrying the bread over his hand, and the birds were coming to eat the bread. نبئنا بتأويله إنا نراك من المحسنين. Let us know its interpretation. We see you are a man of good deeds. Let's stop a little bit here. What made those two people going to Yusuf alayhi salam versus going to someone else? What attracted them to Yusuf? Who told them that this man is going to help you with your dream, to help you understanding and interpreting your dream? The secret, the answer is in the last word of this verse. إِنَّا نَرَاكَ مِنَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. We see that you are a person of good deeds. We see that you are muhsin from an ihsan. Ihsan means righteousness, doing good. Which means that these people, these two people, and most likely everyone in the prison, they observed him, his behavior. They observed his way of interacting with people, the way he talks to people. He was unique. He was not like everyone else. He was very distinguished with his character, with his akhlaq, with his adab, manners, etiquette, the way he talks to people, the way he interacts with people. I'm sure they saw him by himself from time to another, just praying, contemplating, meditating. So they believed that this man has something that no one else has. He has a status that no one else here has. So they trusted him. And this is what every believer should keep in mind. Every Muslim should keep in mind. People might not come to you to tell you that you are different than everyone else in this company. You are different than everyone else in this school. You as a family, you are different than every other family in this neighborhood. They might not come to tell you this, but people observe. People observe your behavior, your actions, the way you talk, the way you interact with people, the way you handle things. And because of that, people trust you. When they find themselves in a situation that they have to find somebody to trust, they will come to you. Why? Because they have been observing you. The same thing that happened to Yusuf alayhi salam. These two people went to him to ask him this question because they trusted him. Why they trusted him? Because they saw him min al-muhsinin. He was a muhsin. He was very well distinguished from anyone else in the prison. So